Hey everyone, it's Up Dog here, and today we are going to be celebrating Marvel Strike Force with their 8th anniversary. It's been quite the ride. Honestly, I've been playing since 2019, so almost, well, let's see, 7 years now, I guess. Um, so this is video is going to be a little bit of a nostalgia, a little bit of stuff that I'm hoping that they will do in the future. I'm gonna give the devs some ideas, give you guys some ideas. I want to hear what your ideas are as well. So let's get into this whole. I'm gonna try and make it short as I can. Recap of where we've been versus where I think the game should go. So let's get into it. So I guess I want to first start off with saying the only reason I started playing this game was because I was watching all the MCU movies. I didn't start watching the MCU movies early on. I really started watching them right after Infinity War came out. And so at that point I was I just went back. I rented all the videos. I did streaming and stuff like that to catch up on all of the MCU videos up until so then I could go to the theater and watch Endgame. So that's kind of my history. I was never really a comic person. My favorite characters are just based on the movies. So Star-Lord is one of my favorite characters in Marvel, and so he was actually. So I started playing this game because of the movies, basically, and he was the very first legendary that I unlocked, and it was super exciting because he was my favorite character, and he back then in 2019 he was still a decent character to have. So it was pretty exciting, very exciting to get my first legendary. And also I guess I do want to mention that so I was really casual when I first started, and everything was very for me anyway, because I'd never played a gacha game like this before. So all of the orbs were very confusing to me. Holy cow, why do we have so many of these things, and why is there so much stuff? It was just very overwhelming. So I only played really casually for the first 6 months. I was in an alliance that didn't even speak English, and we didn't hardly do raids at all. It was the Ultimus 5 raids, I think, is what we were doing, or 4 maybe. So then I finally, after about 6 months, the other game that I was playing was really starting to go downhill quite a bit. And so I'm okay, well, I think I'm going to make this Marvel game my #1 game that I play. So, and it hasn't changed ever since. Hasn't been dethroned. There's been a lot of ups and downs. It's been a wild roller coaster ride, but I want to talk about the good stuff that I experienced, I thought was great. So I mentioned Star-Lord. Pretty early on too, I got Phoenix, and funny story, if you weren't playing back when she was first released as a legendary, I think I unlocked her on either the second or third time around that she came around to be unlocked. But I was farming, so to unlock her you have to, I think it's still the case, but you have to have 6, well, maybe not now, but back then you had to have 6 yellow stars on villain controllers, I believe it is, maybe mystic villain controllers, and there was only 5 in the game at the time, and so one of them was hand assassin, I believe it is. So I was farming like crazy, farming these shards like crazy, and in order to unlock her, I actually bought a $30 offer, I think it was, to get hand assassin shards so I can make sure that I unlocked her when her event rolled around. So that was how excited and how I don't know what the other word is, but that was how important I guess she was at that time when you unlocked her, because she was amazing in arena, she was amazing everywhere else. So that if you're listening to this and have only played for a couple years and you think I'm crazy, well, everybody was doing it. Well, not everybody, but all the spenders were doing it so that they could get her. I wouldn't have, back then I wouldn't have called myself a big spender. I still don't consider myself a big spender, but definitely spend some every once in a while nowadays. But yeah, that was pretty funny now looking back at it, but it got me to, you know, that next step up in the game, and I felt it was worth it, I guess. So yeah, so there was that one. And then the next legendary that I felt was super fun to unlock, she was an amazing character when she came out, was Morgan Le Fay. And I gotta give the devs props on her as well. Having her be the first horseman, that was kind of a bold choice, I think. Like, we knew that we were gonna have the 4 horsemen in Apocalypse, and I think it was a bold choice, but I think it was in a really cool and really different kind of choice, you know? So, you know, not only was she an amazing character, her unlock method was great too. Everybody, well, I would say, you know, the community's never 100% in agreement on anything, really. But I think majority of people liked her Scourge event, her unlock event, because it was difficult. There was like a lot of separation between the high spenders, and there could be, well, maybe not, I don't know if I want to say a lot of separation, but I guess the low spenders could compete with the high spenders. That's what I'll say. So that made it pretty cool. You know, her basic is just amazing, especially if you have her as a striker. That striker attack, stealing 20% health, that was huge back then. She's one of the only characters still that will completely turn back your time meter or turn meter to 0 and reset it, basically. So that was pretty revolutionary for the time. Yeah, she's just got a lot of cool mechanics to her, and her event was amazing. So she was a great choice for the first horseman, and she definitely not used as much anymore, at least by me anyway, but she definitely had a good shelf life. I think at least 2 years, I'd say, for a good quality use out of her. So and then the other, I'd say the last legendary event or legendary character that I really was excited about was Green Goblin here. We had the ultimate Green Goblin in the game before him, but when he came out and the Superior 6 came out, they were an amazing team. I still use Green Gobby here with the Insidious 6 team, but yeah, the Superior 6 team, they lasted a long time as well, had a long shelf life. Like I said, he's still being used by me anyway. So, you know, and just having the actual Goblin with the glider and everything was amazing to have. So I'm a big Sinister 6 fan. Star-Lord's another big one. You know, the symbiotes are another faction that I really like too. So yeah, Green Goblin was awesome to have finally added to the game. It was probably year 6, maybe 5 or 6 that they finally got him in the game. So that was awesome. So next up, I'm going to talk about events that I felt were really good, and I'm going to first start off with, there was an event. It must have been, it must have been 2019 going into 2020. It was like a New Year's event. It was an orb opening event. Now they don't do these anymore because they don't want people to hoard their orbs. Well, guess what? I have, as you can see, all these red dots here. If those are driving you crazy, I apologize. But it's not that I'm hoarding them. I just only open them when I need them. So, but there was an orb opening event. There was like, you would get points for opening training orbs, for opening these ability orbs didn't really exist. I think the green ones existed, but there was points for opening raid orbs. We didn't have the teal back then. It was like orange and purple and green, blue orbs. That kind of stuff like that. I think there was maybe gold orbs that you got points for, but it was a really generous event, and it was a really fun event. I'm pretty sure that, well, at least for at the time when I was playing, since I had only been playing for less than a year, I didn't have a big stash of orbs at the time. But from what I remember, the list of milestones was just huge. So it's like nobody could finish it unless you're like a big heavy spender. But it was still really rewarding from what I remember, and it was just a fun event. They gave the rewards were really good too. Like they had these snow globe orbs, which we've seen since then, but the contents of the orbs were just amazing too. I think they had some like newer character shards in there as well, so it was a really good event. I like that one. They like I said, they're probably never going to do another event like that again, but it was really fun nevertheless. So the other thing that I really liked, I'm gonna pull it up here in just a sec. Okay, so the other thing that was really cool was they had, I'm gonna give credit to Rage Gaming here. This is one of his old videos. It's like one of the only videos I could find of what event campaigns used to be. Now, what you would happen was you would have easy, hard, and heroic, like different difficulties, and I can't remember if like the older ones than Spider Weaver, if those had the difficulties. I can't remember exactly. If you remember, make sure to let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know Steven's probably watching this, and I hope he will correct me. But anyway, yeah, there's different up to this point. The Spider Weaver is one of the last ones that had this kind of campaign, and so there's different difficulties. You would for the higher difficulties, you get more orb shards for that character, and the orbs didn't drop on average, didn't drop very many shards. It was like maybe, I don't know, like 3 or 4 I think was the average for those orbs, but you could use your power cores. And I thought Rage was going to go into more detail here. I thought I picked a good part of the video here. It's just, let me see here. Oh, is this? Oh, here we go. Here's the orbs. They always use the same orb for every event campaign, which was kind of cool. But they use different traits for the campaign. So like they would pick a random, like, I don't know, 10, 15 characters to use for that campaign. And most of the time there were some older characters mixed in with some newer characters. And then the featured character as well. So you get about 3 to 4 shards per orb. You could use your power cores to get more energy and get more shards. And I thought it was a great way to, it was like once a patch, one character every patch would usually get one of these campaigns. And I thought that was an amazing way to unlock characters. I hope they go back to it. At some point they might kind of nerf the orb a little bit more, but still I felt it was like, even if you didn't spend any power cores, you could still unlock the character by the end of like it was like a 2-week event campaign, I think. So so he's talking here about, yeah, like using your cores and how many fragments, orb fragments you'd get. And this was like all the previous event campaign characters, so I think he's just talking about that there. So yeah, that was really fun, and I really like that. I don't, like I said, I think the chances of that coming back is a lot higher than the orb opening event coming back. So hopefully someday we'll get that. And then the other kind of event, I guess you could call it, that I really liked was how when they first added Undying on as a Halloween event. When Zombie Iron Man came out and it was just Zim and Hela as a team, the Zim event, even though it did get a lot of backlash from the community, I still think it was a really cool way to incorporate Halloween and Marvel and getting a new character. And so yeah, the Undying event coming back every year, adding a new character every year to the team was amazing. I'm glad they chose Scarlet Witch as one of the characters. And then it was really cool that we got to vote on the last character. So I really liked how they've done the character or the community voting for characters. That's been amazing too. So I will give them props on that. So those were some of the events. I got a couple more to talk about here. I got a bunch of notes on what to talk about because we got a lot to talk about. So the other event realms, I don't know if you want to call Dark Dimension an event, but so when I first started playing, Dark Dimension 2 was the most recent Dark Dimension that I could do, and that was a pretty difficult event to do, or mode, I guess you could do at the time. I was just finishing it probably like a couple of months before DD3 opened up, and that one was pretty rough trying to get through that. There was a couple of nodes in there with Iron Fist was a problem, Shuri was a problem, there was like a X-Men one, I think, too, or maybe like a Phoenix in there or something like that. That made it a little tough. But the pinnacle, in my opinion, was when Dark Dimension 4 opened up. We had a bunch of streamers streaming, we had a bunch of big spenders racing, and the race wasn't over in one night like it's been for the past couple of Dark Dimensions. It took like 2 weeks at least for the race to end, which was really exciting. You could log in, you could go on Twitch, or maybe check out YouTube or whatever the next day and see how the race was coming along. You still can today, like with the newer Dark Dimensions, but you can check like the nodes and see how far along the people are, going along, and seeing, how much damage they did and stuff like that. So that was super exciting, watching the 2-week race. It was like, I don't know, probably a handful of people, like from what I remember, 4 or 5 people that were really like kind of back and forth, and that was so much fun to watch, just to see who would get that number 1 spot. And there was some little perks for getting number 1, of course, but yeah, it was just fun watching every night, like, okay, this person got to this node, or this person did this much damage. So that was a lot of fun. They didn't have Dark Dimension heals, I don't believe, at the time. I think they might have had cores you could use. I can't remember. Make sure to correct me on that as well. It's been so many years, I can't remember the exact details. But I just remember it was a lot of fun. So some of the metas that I thought was fun, and let's see, let's go back to this screen here. Did I save? I don't think I saved some. Okay, I didn't save some of them, but there was an Ultron X-Men meta, or just Ultron Phoenix in the arena meta. That was really fun because like there could always be like 2 or 3 different pieces to the team that you're facing, and you never know what you're gonna have to use or theorycraft to counter against, so that was really fun. Beating Black Order, discovering that Black Order could be beaten with Doc Ock after Doc Ock came out, and he's a legendary, obviously, as you know. So getting him to work with a team, I think their Emma was involved. The OG Emma was involved as well with that. So that was really fun. Some of the game modes that I think that they should put in are like a world boss. Like everybody in the game goes attacks this big boss, whether it's Galactus or Onslaught or somebody huge, maybe Ego, I don't know, maybe. But anyway, it should be a big huge character that everyone in the game is attacking. We contribute to the points. We've had these global milestones. We just need to take that global milestone idea and take it to the next level. So world bosses would be amazing. The other idea that I've actually talked to them a couple of times about is endless wave mode. But basically Gears of War, they call their mode Horde mode, and basically it's an endless wave. Like the enemies will just keep on, you clear a wave and then the enemies come again, and then they get a little bit more stats and a little bit more stats, and your team has to have the sustain, the damage, everything to survive the waves. And I think that would be an amazing mode. Let me know what you guys think, other modes that you want to see, but endless wave would really be exciting for me. So now let's talk about teams real quick, about teams that I want to see come to the game. And number one team that I want to see is the 1 million BC Avengers. We already have a couple of characters. We have Bashenga, we have Odin. I don't know if he would be a part of the team or not, but we also have Starbrand in the game, so definitely ripe for a 3 characters coming in to mix with some reworks and make a 1 million BC Avengers team. Ghost Rider here, he rides a mammoth, I believe, so that would be freaking sweet. We have Agamotto, he'd be awesome too. And this is like a Phoenix character. I think her name was like Fire Hair or something like that. But I think we got enough Phoenix characters. We'll let Phoenix Force team take that. But Ghost Rider, Agamotto, I'm not sure who this is here. But yeah, 1 million BC Avengers team would be amazing. So make it happen, Scopely. And then the Infinity War team, we already have Iron Man, we have Thor. If they were to do Cap, I would want him to be an endgame Cap with Mjolnir and the shield. I think everybody go crazy for him. So we'll see. Maybe they'll make that a costume or something down the line. Who knows? But they just need to. I think they need to finish some of these teams that they've started. Like there's Secret Avengers, there's X Factor. Let's see. There's Cabal. So if they could finish some of the teams that they started, that would be amazing too. But yeah, just Infinity War team. That was something that I had on my list here as part of like the 2 characters that they could finish off. Let's see, Mr. Sinister. I wish they would rework him and put him on a different team. His clone mechanic is obviously the only clone mechanic we have really in the game. So we need to revive him a little bit, give him some new stats. That'd be awesome. And then what else? Oh, the Olympians team. We already have Ares and Hercules. So add 3 more characters onto them. Make an Olympians team. That'd be awesome. Kilgrave. I don't know how or who they would put him with, but we already have like a mind control mechanic in the game. Kilgrave would be amazing. He was amazing in Jessica Jones. I think he would be awesome in the game. So we need to get Kilgrave and 1 million BC Avengers in the game. Matt Sheets, make it happen, please. We also have Werewolf by Night. Now this guy, if you've been following data mines in this game since the early days. This guy has been in the data mines for nearly 8 years. So I think it's about time we give him some respect and put him in the game as well. So maybe for Halloween this year, who knows? Hopefully, but eventually he's gonna get his day. I mean, I gotta think he's got to get his day at some point. So I had to put him on the list here. And then there's also a bunch of Kang variants or Doom variants that we could add to the game as well. That'd be cool. I think more symbiotes would be awesome. And also a what if team. We have T'Challa. We have Peggy. Zombie Cap would be another cool one. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like Zombie Cap or if you'd like Mjolnir and Endgame Cap. Which one you'd like better. But a what if team would be awesome. Let's see here. That's all I got for teams. Now, I want to talk about game mechanics real quick too that I think that they could add. And the one that I think would be the most helpful, I guess, to kind of counter some other strong characters that we have, like Damon, like the big, huge Alpha Strike characters, would be a move kind of like they have in Pokemon. It's called Endure. And basically, if you do that, maybe it could be a passive or something. But basically what happens is if they hit you, if the enemy hits you, you don't die. I guess we kind of have death proof, but this would be like a death proof without having to use death proof, I guess. But basically what happens in the Pokemon anyway, what happens is the enemy attacks you and you just can't die from whatever attack it is. And so that would be the case, like even for like a health drain, health steal kind of moves too for MSF. So I think that move or that mechanic would be kind of useful for Marvel Strike Force. The other ones I have are, yeah, like there's a spike mechanic here. You can see these spikes, I think, or a thorn mechanic, something like that, where when you either basically ignore the spikes from Pokemon, but basically if you hit a character, then they get damaged, the enemy gets damaged, or yeah, whoever hits you, then they get damaged. We kind of have that with Thing, but if they could expand on that a little bit more, that'd be kind of cool. Let's see, we have, what do we have? Oh, Protect. Okay, so how Protect works in Pokemon is basically you throw it up there, and whatever move they hit you with, you don't get any damage. I know that's kind of like what we have with Barrier, but this takes it one step further. Like the Barrier doesn't get depleted, or you don't get any damage at all. Like even with Barrier, piercing damage can still get to you, but this is protecting you fully, no damage at all on your allies or yourself or whatever. So there's that one. And then so a couple of other mechanics that I did want to talk about is, let's see, there's in Pokemon there's something called Trick Room, and it inverses the speed of everybody on the field. So I think they tried that in a Cosmic Crucible room. It didn't work out. So I'm not sure if they could get that to work, but inversing the speed would be really awesome, I think, for a character to do that. Let's see here. Oh, and then if they had like we have bleed in the game, but if they had like a more severe bleed, maybe they call it like hemorrhage or something, where the more bleeds they get, the more damage it takes. Or maybe they have maybe the enemy takes bleed damage for like on their second turn. If they get bleed damage, then it goes like double the amount of bleed damage that happens, and it keeps doubling every turn if they keep getting bleed damage, something like that. So yeah, that's all I had, I guess, for, well, I guess maybe one other one you could throw in there is, well, like they have in Pokemon. I'm using Pokemon because I'm pretty familiar with that, but there's the confusion mechanic in Pokemon where the ally Pokemon they could hit themselves if they're confused. So that could be something they could add too. But if you guys have any other suggestions on game mechanics like that, let me know what you think might be pretty cool to add in there. And I wanted to wrap up the video with, we've had 8 years of this game, people, a bunch of content creators covering it. I just wanted to give a shout out to some of the content creators that I enjoyed and thought they did a great job. And you know, one person on this list is pretty controversial, but he's one of the ones that I started watching until he had an unfortunate incident happen. So I'm sure you'll know who it is if you've been around long enough. But I did want to give him a shout out just because he was a great content creator as far as giving tips and strategies, which is something that I like to do as well. So just that aspect of his content is what I'm trying to highlight here. So in no particular order, we're gonna go with a big thank you to Tana for all of his years of covering the game. Philosopher was amazing. I loved his humor. He was pretty dry humor, but I really liked him. Reminex, I know he still streams, but I liked his actual YouTube videos that he did back in the day. Casino did amazing infographics and strategy, like I hinted at a few minutes ago. Run 7, when he left, that was probably the biggest blow to me for the community as far as a content creator. He was great. He was hilarious. He was funny. His daily recaps were always great. So he was a big loss to the community. Let's see. We had the last two people I have on here on the list is Tony Scangili and Wolverthor. I watched Tony some, and he was hilarious. Great entertainment. And Wolverthor, he had some good info as well, strategies and stuff like that. So just wanted to kind of look back on all of the content creators that have been part of the game who have since left. Wanted to give them a big thank you. And that's all I got. That's my long journey here. Sorry for the long video. I don't do those very often, but I hope that kind of sparked some nostalgia for you. And definitely let me know in the comments, like, if you are really like, oh, I think we should have this, maybe this mode, this ability, this team, whatever it is, whatever would get you excited about playing Marvel Strike Force. Please let me know, because I do still talk to the devs and pass along feedback. So let me know, and make sure you spend those resources wisely, because we're should be getting a lot of them for the anniversary, and we will see you around. Thanks a lot.